These 6 champion Pokémon make no sense at all. A Pokémon Champion is normally not only the strongest trainer of a region, but also represents the region he's living in. Therefore, the champion's team also has to fulfill 2 different roles. On the first hand, it obviously must be a strong team, because the champion without a strong team makes really no sense. But on the other hand, it should represent the region of the champion and must be something special. I mean, the champion is the one trainer everyone is looking up to. That means one single random Pokémon on the champion's team could destroy his or her reputation. My name is Versus, I am from Germany, and today I will show you 6 Pokémon of champions that make no sense at all. I am very sure that my first choice will cause some heart attacks. So if you are a hardcore Sinnoh fan, please sit down. Cynthia, champion of the Sinnoh region, is probably the most popular champion ever. Very good looking, incredibly strong, but in my opinion she has one flaw. And please now sit down, it's her Milotic. Yes, Milotic is super strong, hard to beat and caused a lot of problems for many trainers out there. But Milotic has several problems. The first one is obviously that it is not from the Sinnoh region. Every other Pokémon that Cynthia is using in her Diamond and Pearl or even the Platinum team is from the Sinnoh region. Being one of the strongest Pokémon of the Hoenn region, it already was the ace Pokémon of a champion. Additionally, Cynthia already has a pretty good water-type Pokémon from the Sinnoh region with Gastrodon. At this point, I think Togekiss should have replaced Milotic. And now let's go from the most popular champion to the probably least popular champion, which is Geeta from the Paldea region. I personally think that Geeta's team isn't as bad as many people think, but I will explain that in another video to you. Today we will just concentrate on one Pokémon that is not fitting to her team, and that is Veluza. And I promise it is not because Veluza sounds like loser, it is because Veluza is simply a poor choice. The first reason is that Veluza is already on the team of a gym leader, which is Kofu. And even for Kofu, it is not the ace Pokémon, it's just the first Pokémon you had to battle there, and overall it is really not that strong. The second reason is that Geeta has already a pretty cool Psychic type Pokémon with Espathra, so the secondary type Psychic makes no sense here. But because a water type Pokémon could fit to Geeta's team and she could need a little bit of improvement, as we said before, I think Palafin is the perfect option. Of course, Palafin has to switch out to get its perfect form, but I think a champion like Geeta could do that. With a hero like Palafin, Geeta would be way harder to beat. After talking about 2 female champions, let's talk about 2 male champions now. At first, about Steven Stone. Even though I think Steven Stone's team fits pretty good to him in general, there is one Pokémon I'm not super happy with. This Pokémon is Skarmory. And honestly, I must say there is only one reason against Skarmory. Design-wise, story-wise and strength-wise, there is nothing I can say about it. That is a pretty good choice for Steven. Steven's whole team is originally from the Hoenn region except for Skarmory. The first time you meet Steven and the last time you battle him in Pokémon Emerald is in Granite Cave. And in Granite Cave you can find Mawile. Of course, you're right, Skarmory is competitively way better than Mawile. But because Steven doesn't use his Skarmory in a competitive way either way, Mawile wouldn't make much of a difference here. This would be the first main usage of a Mawile in the Gen 3 games. The next male champion I want to talk about is Lance. Lance, being an Elite 4 member in the first Pokémon generation, he became champion in the second generation. With this transition, his 2 Dragonairs evolved into 2 Dragonites, which make a total of 3 Dragonites in Lance's team. Of course, 3 Dragonites would make sense this way, but I personally feel that 3 Pokémon of the same species in one team is strictly against the idea of Pokémon, catching them all. Lance's team is based on dragon-like looking Pokémon and not on dragon-type Pokémon. To fill that gap, I have 2 Pokémon in mind, Tyranitar and Feraligatr. Feraligatr would be awesome because Lance has already a Kanto starter with Charizard, so a Johto starter would be great. Having already the Pseudo legendary Pokémon from Kanto, Tyranitar would also make sense here. From Generation 2 we are jumping directly into Generation 6. Here we can find Champion Diantha with a Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir is not the Pokémon I want to talk about, it's her Hawlucha. In general, Hawlucha wouldn't be a bad Pokemon for a champion, but Hawlucha is already the ace Pokemon of Corinna. Yes, you could also say it is Mega Lucario, but in the gym battle she uses Hawlucha as her last Pokemon. And if you really want to give Diantha a fighting type Pokemon, you could also go with Pangoro. Pangoro is no one's ace Pokemon and has no major appearances in Pokemon X and Y. With Pangoro on her team, I would be way happier with the general Pokemon distribution in Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. Last but not least is one of the fan favorites, it's Leon. No worries, I won't touch any signature Pokemon of Leon like Charizard, like Dragapult or the 3 starter Pokemon. I think that Haxorus makes no sense on his team. The reason is simple. He already has a strong Dragon-type Pokemon with sweeping potential on his team with Dragapult. It is getting a little bit trickier here because Leon has changing teams. Depending on the starter Pokemon you have chosen, you will have another starter Pokemon plus one additional changing Pokemon. One of these Pokemon are Mr. Rime, and I think Mr. Rime should be part of his main team. Haxorus will now be only part of Leon's team when you have chosen Scorbunny as your starter Pokemon. And Mr. Rime will always be on Leon's team, like in the Champions finale against Ash in the anime. Tell me in the comments down below which Pokemon of Champions doesn't make sense in your opinion. Now just click here to subscribe to my channel and click here to see my latest video where I fixed 6 bad Kanto Pokemon. Thank you so much for watching, I hope to see everybody of you soon here on my channel at Versus Prime. Goodbye guys.